It was a great night of fighting, ladies and gentlemen. UFC 296 just wrapped up. Before we get into the recap for all the fights, we're going to be taking a quick look at stuff that went down before the main card. Of course, we know Sean Strickland and Dragos du Plessis got into a little bit of a scramble in the audience section. After that, of course, we're going to be talking about the recap of all the fights. And then we're going to be talking about some of the things that Dana White said after the entire event had concluded. Without further ado, if you are a repeating viewer of this channel, consider subscribing, consider liking the video, and as always, leave a comment for support. But let's go ahead and watch this Sean Strickland versus Dragos du Plessis fight real quick. Alright, let's go ahead.
Sean Strickland
You can see Drake is behind him, still kind of talking once Sean turned his back. So I don't know if maybe Sean Strickland heard him, but how about Sean Strickland, who is a psychopath, having the wherewithal to tell the kids to move before he goes and attacks Dragos du Plessis?
Well, it's just so ridiculous that the middleweight champion of the world would do that.
No, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Sometimes
he's out of his mind. He really is nuts. And look, he's getting off on it. He enjoys it. He had a good time.
he got thrown out of the gym.
You know, don't do that. Yeah.
Alright, so apparently it was Dana White that was in charge of this seating arrangement. And honestly, if you ask me, I feel like this is a little bit fabricated because it just so happens that Sean Strickland is seated right in front of Dragos du Plessis. I don't think that was by accident by any means. But yeah, it was really entertaining. Apparently they're not getting fined, they're not getting charged or anything. It seems like Dana White really liked that this went down. You know, it's really great for marketing because they gotta sell that next fight. But let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment section below. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about all the fights that went down for the main card at UFC 296. Earlier today we did a predictions video and Bryce Mitchell was our pick to win this fight against Josh Emmett. The way that I saw the fight going was that since Bryce Mitchell was coming in at a 2-week short notice, I really thought that he was going to put on a lot more pressure against Josh Emmett. But if I'm being completely honest, he looked a little bit trigger shy. And I feel like the lack of his movements and the lack of him being a threat, Josh Emmett was able to feed off of that and, you know, just catch him with a crazy overhand that just knocked him completely out, man. It's crazy the amount of power that Josh Emmett is able to produce being a featherweight. And we really don't see, you know, one hitter quitters type knockouts in the featherweight division. So that was pretty freaking crazy to witness. Alright, let's move forward. Let's talk about Paddy Pimblett versus Tony Ferguson. Look, I made a video about this particular fight like a couple months ago, and I got a lot of shit for it because in that video, even though I praised Tony Ferguson for being a tough dude and for being one of the greatest fighters in the lightweight division, I thought that he should have retired a couple fights ago, and I said that in the video, and of course there was a lot of people that hated that I said that, and I think it's pretty evident because by no means is Paddy Pimblett an elite striker and Tony Ferguson got out-stroked pretty much each and every single round. By no means is Paddy Pimblett an elite grappler and Tony Ferguson got out-grappled pretty significantly each and every single round. Look, there's going to be glimpses of the old Tony Ferguson because it is Tony Ferguson, right? There's going to be glimpses of the old him in some of his changes, but look, I'm not convinced that Tony Ferguson should be fighting in the UFC anymore. And honestly, I wasn't convinced a couple fights ago. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I'm going to be talking about this topic later on in the video because Dana White said something about this situation, and we're going to be covering that later on in this video. But we did call this right. We gave Paddy Pimblett the pick for our predictions earlier with the video that we released about the UFC 296 predictions video. Alright, and now we move on to the Shavkat Rakhmonov and Anthony Thompson fight. Not the most entertaining fight, but Shavkat Rakhmonov did what he had to do to fight someone like Stephen right? And it's a tough conversation to have with people because they thought that Shavkat Rakhmonov was just Rachmanov the pick for the fight predictions from earlier today, and we got that fight correctamundo. All right, and now we move on to the Alexander Pantoja versus Brandon Royval fight, which for some reason went under the radar, but this fight was easily the most entertaining and the most interesting fight out of the entire freaking card. Open stance, right? Conventional versus southpaw, some pretty interesting decision making. To start off the fight, Alexander Pantoja just kicked the shit out of Brandon Royval's guard twice. Crazy decision making. We never ever see that ever in MMA, but Alexander Pantoja was going in there to give Brandon Royval in this position that he was going to try to dominate him, and dominate him is exactly what he did. From round 1 all the way to debatably, round 5, where Brandon Royval started finding some success. But from round 1 all the way to round 4, it's not even a point of discussion. It's not even doubt, right? Alexander Pantoja completely dominated Brandon Royval. It was just crazy. It was just crazy. Takedown after takedown after takedown. Alexander Pantoja might never ever move his head off center line, and he gets caught with a jab pretty freaking often. But this man can take some and he can give some as well. Brandon Royval was really struggling with being a defensive kind of grappler, and Alexander Pantoja was taking advantage of that. And yeah, it was a pretty entertaining fight, pretty technical fight. Of course, we gave Alexander Pantoja our pick, right, for being the winner of this fight, and we got that 100%, right? But yeah, look, in my opinion, moving forward, I think Alexander Pantoja probably faces Brandon Moreno again, and I'm really excited. I know Brandon Moreno's gonna fight some other guy in his next fight, but I really do think that those are the two best guys in the flyweight division right now. It's Alexander Pantoja and Brandon Moreno, and hopefully we get to see them fight again. All right, and now the main card between Leon Edwards and Colby Covington. This fight pretty much went exactly the way I thought it would, and it was a pretty easy pick for us to decide that Leon Edwards is going to be the winner for this fight, because like I said, the last time we saw Colby Covington was over a freaking year ago. We don't know what shape he's coming in and with what confidence, right? Because he hasn't been in the freaking octagon in a long time, while Leon Edwards is more consistent. And it's crazy because he has the momentum as a winner, as a champion, and we've seen evidence that his game as a martial artist is evolving because he is being offensive from his grappling and wrestling exchanges, something that we've never seen him do before until his last fight against his biggest freaking test ever, which was Kamaru Usman, which I think was a bigger test than Colby Covington, 100%. There's no doubt about it. So with Leon Edwards having that confidence of beating one of the greatest fighters in UFC, period, right? I know that he was going to come in with the confidence knowing that he could beat someone like Colby Covington, and a lot of it has to do with Leon Edwards being freaking evident, showing evidence that his game as an MMA fighter definitely freaking evolved from his last fight. And yeah, this fight went exactly the way I thought it would. Colby Covington, I made a poll, and I pretty much asked people, and I pretty much asked them, hey, do you guys think that Colby Covington went too far talking about Leon Edwards' dad? And a lot of people said no, he didn't go too far, right? It's all mental warfare. But man, look, yeah, I think it's kind of fucked up that he had to go that far. He had to go that far to try to get into Leon Edwards' head. Even if he was in character, I feel like it was still freaking out of pocket. It's just some shit you just don't say. But anyway, I guess this is the fight game, like how Dana White likes to say it. But it's just something that I just didn't agree that with Colby Covington when he said it. I was just like, man, that's fucked up, right? It's just some shit you just don't say. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this recap down in the comment section below. Okay, and during the press conference, Dana White announced some pretty big news, and I'm going to talk about them really quickly. First of all, Michael Venom Page is headed to the UFC, and his first fight with the organization is going to be with Kevin Holland at UFC 299 in Miami, March 9th. He also did announce that he and Gary and Jeff Neal are going to be facing each other. Peter Yan and Song Yadong are going to have a bout, and Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della Maddalena, which is a fight that I'm pretty excited for because there's a lot of hype right now around Jack Della Maddalena, if you know what's up with the sport. Alright, so right after that, Dana White has some words for Tony Ferguson. Let's go ahead and listen to what he had to say. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that I can 100% agree with everything that Dana White just said. And look, at no point am I trying to disrespect Tony Ferguson. I respect him. At the end of the day, he tried. He tried to get off that skid. He tried to get a win. He tried. And we could all respect him for that. We could all respect the fact that he gave it his all. You know, he did that Hell Week with David Goggins, but even that wasn't enough to get Tony Ferguson a win. I think that now is a pretty good time for Tony Ferguson to really consider retirement. But that's all I have for you guys today. It is currently 4 in the morning. I'm about to start editing this video. So if you could do me a favor and give this video a like, consider subscribing, leave a comment. As always, I will see you guys in the next